You're listening to episode 266 of Lifestyle Locker Radio with Philipp von Holtzendorff-Fehling. Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Hand, and welcome to Lifestyle Locker Radio, where we help you create an awesome life and lifestyle. From nutrition to fitness, mindfulness to peak performance, and relationships to money mindset, we bring you on an amazing journey to help you unleash your human potential. Hey, it's Dr. Josh Hand here, and we need to talk about your health, your fitness, and your lifestyle. I know you, if you're like me, you've seen sickness and disease and even death in your life. And we know the leading causes of death in the United States are cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Many of these conditions and diseases are considered lifestyle-based. And I know that lifestyles in the United States and other countries are not where they should be. We also know that they make you more vulnerable to other sicknesses and conditions. We tend to get our advice and recommendations on health from commercials and marketing, from fast food to pharmaceuticals, and not from experts with real-world experience. Unfortunately, we follow people or products who don't walk the walk or talk the talk. They simply just don't care about your health. It's just about their bottom line. I know we've heard it from our friends and from even our own self-talk that we don't have enough time, we can't make the changes, or there's just too much to do to be healthy. But there is a way to actually take control of your lifestyle and have the accountability and the support you need. We can be bigger than our excuses. For the past 14 years as a chiropractor, I've worked and continue to work with thousands of patients with their lifestyle and ultimately their health. I am now bringing the same philosophy to the online space where we can work as a group to get better, stronger, healthier, and be bigger than our excuses every single day. I've created the 3065 Lifestyle Shift program to be an online-based, training-based program where you get to learn and be engaged with others in your journey towards a healthy lifestyle and ultimately a healthier life. To be part of this amazing movement, it's just $5 a month. Yes, it's only $5 a month, and that seems too good to be true. Well, it's not. So for the price of a gourmet coffee, you will have access to an amazing program and amazing people that want the best for you too. So when you dive into the content below this video to learn about our lifestyle philosophy, you'll see that we are incredibly unique. No other online program focuses on lifestyle the way we do and delivers the quality and the quantity of content that we do for just $5 a month. And it's not just about the movement. There's a lot more. It's really about your health. So check out the details and other videos below. And when you sign up, I'll even send you the ebook, Inside the Locker, which dives deeper into creating an awesome lifestyle. I look forward to seeing you on the inside of the Lifestyle Locker 3065 Lifestyle Shift program. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lifestyle Locker Radio. We have an amazing return guest. This guy is loaded with good energy, good vibes, no pun intended. He's surrounded by good things, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. Philip, welcome back, brother.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, so for those of you that have watched the first episode, and I urge you, we're not going to dive into his backstory today. Jump into episode 242 of Lifestyle Locker Radio, digest that content, and then you can listen to this first, but then you're going to definitely want to listen to the other one as well. But we're going to talk about some of the technologies that I have, that Philip created, that have actually been making a really cool impact on my life. For instance, like the necklaces we're both wearing, the water bottles we're drinking out of it, and a couple other things that we'll share as we go through this show. And I urge all of you to definitely jump and check out the video because you'll see certain things. So Philip, with the Quantum Tech, I'm just going to share just one story with you. Shortly after you sent me some stuff, right? So you sent me these cards. I'm going to take one out of my pocket here. I have this inner peace card. It's cool cool charged card here that comes pre-charged for everyone. But I didn't have this one. I had the abundance card in my pocket. Going to practice, I just put in, abundance for me. It goes across everything in my life, from my health to wealth to you name it. So abundance is a big word. It doesn't just mean finances. So I had this in the first week. I had it in practice. I was every day in my pocket, and I wasn't looking for a miracle, but that week in practice, coming out of COVID, coming out of New York City being shut down for so long, our practice grew so significantly that week.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm the guys going, what? This is pretty cool. So I shared this on social media, and my friends that see me running, and I put videos and images up with this capsule I'm wearing. And now I start getting text messages, hey, where do I get that card? Or where do I get that capsule? What's going on? And for me, it was really a neat aha moment, because I've heard people use the phrase, I've even used it, energy is everything. And yeah, it is everything. And I'm starting to feel the impacts and sense the impacts personally in my life by using the water, the quantum block, which I'll show you in a minute, everybody, the cards, the necklace. I don't take this thing off of my neck. And I'll have Philipp describe a little bit about what the power is with some of the technologies and why it's working for me. But this is the Heel Capsule. He's got something different on his neck. But so Philipp, why is this happening? For the audience listening, I know it sounds crazy. Wait, energy, really? Your practice changed because you have a aluminum card in your pocket? What's going on? So how does this stuff start to work?
Yeah, it's a great question, and certainly it sounds woo-woo to a lot of people, but
of course
it is so real, because behind every matter there is energy. Right? I think that's something that people can follow, even though if they have not really worked with energy yet or understood that broader concept, but that's something that people can relate to, right? They understand, okay, there's energy behind it. In essence, we're all energy and frequency. And by the way, there's this huge shift happening right now on Earth with humanity, where we're all moving more into that, and that becomes more apparent. It's maybe not wanted by certain groups, as we can tell, right? They like to keep us on a very low frequency and rather to identify ourselves with just the physical body and just seeing the matter. But that really limits us to a very, very small portion of what we are. So with our technology, yes, it's almost unbelievable how it works, but it does work, and we can prove it with certain tests, with really scientific studies and so on. We've done a lot of those, and we actually in the process of doing a lot more. And it's very fascinating, because just two physical impacts that you can measure. For example, you can take a drop of a blood and put it under a dark field microscope, and you can do that with anybody that hasn't taken a sip out of the water bottle just beforehand or anything like that. And you look at the blood under the dark field microscope, and typically, when blood is not so healthy, you see these money rolls, for example. It's very, very visible. And even people that don't know much about dark field microscopy at all, they would be able to see that picture and understand, okay, that looks a little unhealthy. Then if you put your hands into the quantum block, for example, or you would wear the Heel Capsule, etc., for a while, then you take a blood sample again and you look at it, it significantly has changed to the better. And it's amazing, with 100% of those tests that were done by a doctor's office in Austria, those were the results. So it had real physical impact on the blood, which you could see in a live version. And another thing, for example, you can measure the voltage of the cells, right? And that's actually very, very important. For certain cells, there's different voltage levels that you want to be in, and you also don't want to be too high and you don't want to be too low. Whereas for real sportsman, like you, for example, in your muscle cells, for example, you can have higher voltage. Typically, with people that do a whole lot of sports, they can have that. But that's just a variation. You can measure that, and there's an institute in Austria that uses the advanced a method to actually measure those voltages and certain other things. And they do measure other things, but one of the parts is really that. And they measure the people, and then they can expose them to EMF, for example, put them in an electric car, which is by itself already quite terrible, give them an iPad and a phone, and then measure their levels. And you can tell each and every time it has a huge negative impact, actually. Now, then they introduce our products, and they could measure exactly on a physical level, again, on a cell level, the changes that are almost instant. Like literally within seconds and minutes, you see already everything regulating in the body. So yeah, it does work, and a lot of people can actually feel it too. I mean, we don't expect people to be seers to really, we have those people too, but a lot of people feel it in one way or another.
Yeah, so I just want to just go back to something you said that's very powerful, because science, we talk about science and research is doing something that's provable again and again and again. And if something is not, that's how science works. We question, okay, why didn't that work, or why did that work? So when you said something that was very powerful that I'm not sure if everybody was paying attention to, not like 98% of the time we saw a change. No, there was three numbers there, right? 100%.
Yes.
So that's insanely powerful. And getting into that energetic level, you talk about electricity, and like we think that through neurology, but also at that cellular level, when you say energy is everything, and energy is always behind matter. So just to bring people into a little bit more of the science into that, just so I want to bring everybody back real quick to like elementary, like their younger school days, when we had to learn about an atom, right? Atoms, everything's moving. You have the electrons that are spinning this charge, right? This electrical charge, so that we can bring the human body down to an atomic level. But granted, we're a giant community of these cells, which also have trillions, or I don't even know the number, zillions of atoms in there, which are all charged. So helping that overall community work together would only make sense to keep the human healthier, right? And more abundant in all areas of life, or whatever it may be, whatever we're really looking for. And I also like that you mentioned the electric car, like that analogy, or that test, going from an electric car with like a cell phone and a iPad and all, and it like hurts the human. Like they can measure that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because you think of the direction this world is pushing us to go in with electronic cars. And I get the understanding of the why, but if you're going to be hurting humans down like by doing this, like why are we doing this? And I guess my mechanic, who's a good friend, I don't drive an electric car. I drive a pickup truck of all things. But I was asking, because I was really interested years back in possibly getting one of these new electric cars that are really cool, that drive themselves, all this stuff. Like, that'd be really cool. And he asked me one question. He goes, would you live under power lines? I said, no. He goes, why would you want to sit on a battery that big with that much technology around you? He goes, I'm not a health guy, but that just doesn't sound healthy. And you're a health guy. I'm like, you make a good point. You make a good point. So I just wanted to bring that in there, because I think that's just powerful when you say that actually can decrease the electrical energy in each cell, which is quite scary.
Indeed. And I wasn't aware of that, frankly, either, in terms of the electric cars. And I learned something also new in addition to that I've already found out over the last, few years. But the way the power works in an electric car is not just there is so much of this that you're exposed to. It's the type of the power, apparently, that has just a huge impact. And that's something I learned yesterday from someone that I interviewed. And that was pretty fascinating, actually, because he has this medical background, but he also has the background in terms of power and electricity and all of that. And that was quite fascinating. So they indeed run these tests always in an electric car, and then they give some iPads and iPhones to really make it really heavy.
Yeah.
And it does work, but it doesn't stop there. EMF is really just one of the things that are regulated, and that, EMF, a lot of people understand we have EMFs, we're exposed, and now you can measure a lot of that, but there's other frequencies as well. And there's certainly environmental impacts like herbicides and pesticides and stuff like that. Bad air, bad food, bad, what have you. That's kind of what we're exposed to. And it's our task and our challenge now to just make ourselves as strong and resistant to all of that the body can heal itself and be in a good shape. And that applies to the mind as well. And that's where our products plug in, that you have a natural source of energy that can help you on a physical level, but also on a mental level, really, to be in a very balanced state so that you're not so impacted from the influences.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you brought in the different areas, not just electrical energy, not just EMF. So in chiropractic and in Lifestyle Locker, in my life, we talk about like physical, chemical, emotional stressors, and that pretty much can cover just about everything that happen in the body. And we talk about the nervous system and the spine being the circuit breaker to that, and that piece of the puzzle. But I love some of your input in this, because we're all exposed to air. We're all exposed to, I say the quality of the air, but like we're drinking water. Like how clean is it? Like all these things are being put into our system, both either externally or internally. And they do have an impact on our overall health and well-being as a human, and even our pets, right? So if we had to look at a few of those pieces, if we were to say, hey, great, the food that I'm eating or the water that I'm drinking, what are ways, with the Leela, the Quantum Tech, like how would we utilize it to, improve those little pieces of our lives? Like we could just start with food or water.
Yeah. So with water, obviously an easy way to handle that and fairly affordable is to use one of those water bottles here, because this water bottle is a double wall stainless steel, and it's charged with pure quantum energy. And then we've added certain healing frequencies as well. And there's also the frequencies of about 78 different vitamins, minerals, and organic plant extracts that are all super vital for the human body. So those frequencies and the quantum energy basically charge and structure the water when you put it inside. And when you drink it, you basically have a water that is so much more nourishing, and you feel it, and literally you can feel it. It's as if you can just take it in much better, and it hydrates you in a better way. It even tastes better typically. And it has this additional benefits of the frequencies in there. So we must say it doesn't filter anything, right? So you don't want to go to the Mississippi and just, put the water in and then drink it. That's not really how it works, because you still want to use filtered water. But then you really add life energy to that with this. And the same you can do with a capsule, actually. Like you could take a glass of water that's not too big and just put the capsule next to it and just have it charged there maybe for 10, 15 minutes and possibly 20 minutes. And that's even better. And then you get the same frequencies in. It's just the water bottle is way more convenient, because you can take it wherever you go, go to the fitness studio or in the car and leverage it. And then you could use the quantum block, which you may have handy there. There you go. So that's the actual, that's the actual, I show the little bigger version. That's called the infinity block here. So that's both the actual technology we use. But so if you have one of those, you could put your glass really inside and then charge it. And then just takes a few seconds actually, and it structures that water. And then you can drink it. And you can do the same thing with raspberries, with nuts, with strawberries, any type of food. And it adds life force energy. Then that's, again, something that sounds crazy, like, oh, that can't be, but that's in essence kind of what it is, right? So if you have a garden and you take a piece of a salad, of a lettuce, and then you go eat it and it was in good soil and good energy and had good water and you have it pretty fresh, there's still a lot of life force energy in there. Now, if you take a lettuce that was already picked 2 weeks ago and it just was kept somewhere, to maintain fresh, there's a lot less life force energy in there. That's maybe an analogy to understand that.
You could taste that. I mean, when if you have a fresh veggie out of a garden, like you pick it yourself, it does taste so different than a store bought, even if it's organic.
Yeah.
So different. So different. So I'm thinking as we're talking about the water bottle and we're with the quantum and the infinity block. So, and this is not sure, I'm not sure if this is something that's even doable, but I'm thinking about is I have a well, right? So I have a well, it's in a well house. It's like a little shed outside my house. All the copper piping is in there. And then we have like this fiberglass container, which I guess the water goes in, builds pressure, however that works. I'm not sure. But I was thinking of, like what if we had something like this that can attach to the copper pipe. So everything that's going through is potentially, right?
Yes.
Getting charged. That'd be like really neat.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so we have a Telegram group actually. And I think you still have the links. You can put it in the show notes or I'll send it to you again. And a lot of people actually have experimented with that. And so one way to do it is actually to if you have a quantum block or an infinity block, you could, get yourself in a Home Depot or whatever, some aluminum rods or modules, for example. It can be other metal too, but aluminum is something that you would find easily probably. And then you can charge those and then you can tape them around the copper piping. Or there's also something, I think even on Amazon, you could find it. It's like they have titanium tape. It's basically tape that contains also titanium. And why is that good? Because metals hold quantum energy really well and transmit it really well. So if you just use regular tape, it wouldn't do anything really. But if you have the titanium infused there, for example, or maybe you have a copper wrap or something, copper works actually really well. Something that you can get inside the quantum block or infinity block, you charge it and then wrap it around that. Absolutely. As the water flushes through there, it gets structured. And that happens instantly. You won't get as much of a charge,
of course,
when it just flows through, but it does help.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that as you're going, and I know that the Telegram group is a very active group. I know if I don't look at it for a day, it's like 600 new messages. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to keep up with any of this? It's a lot. I know that's your world. But it's really neat. And I'm glad you said that, because for people that are going to use something like the quantum block or the infinity block to charge, I just thought of a simple solution. This may be on the group, but if you have old copper, like wire that you wired your house with, like you can open it up, peel out 10 feet of it or 15 feet of it, put it like coil it up with a little ball, put it in the quantum block, let it sit however long it needs to sit. Like, what would you say if I'm going to let that charge? How long would I charge copper for?
In the quantum block, I mean, maybe 3 minutes, and then you're good to go.
And then take that out.
1 minute would already do a lot. Yeah,
and then that's it. That's a really cool. All right, so that's cool. I think, and I can tell you from my personal experience as an athlete, there are two things that I'll have you touch base on. Well, we did already one with the water. We've been drinking. I drink this water, so before I leave my house at 6 a.m. every day for my office. How many ounces is this bottle?
Well, it's like almost 750 milliliters, which an ounce is
like 24 almost, right?
Yeah, I think round about that. Yes.
Yeah. So the whole bottle's gone. It's the first thing that goes in my body. I don't drink coffee before. I meditate before. And then I chug this bottle of water is number 2 of my every single morning. And I have that when I come home I don't bring it to the office. I don't want to leave it in my office because it's kind of like a part of my body at this point. So we have, I have at least 48 ounces of water at a minimum the days that I'm in the office with this alone. It's the first thing I go in and it's the last thing that goes to my body in the evening. And I definitely notice a difference with running and hydration. I sweat a lot. That's just me when I run. Granted, I'm running in a humid state, New York in the summer, it happens. But I do really, really well in the heat with it. And I haven't tested it in a sauna or anything like that, but it's something I swear by at this point. It goes in our dog's water as well. He drinks this water. And I think I also want you to touch base on the capsule. I know yours is different than what I'm wearing, but I'm wearing the Heel Capsule. And just go over like the materials, what it's charged, how it's made, if you would, please. But this I wear running all the time, and I swear, I don't know if I so much. It's not like I feel like like this crazy energy when I'm running with it, but it's something that I recover so well. I'm pretty good at recovery, but this was like the next level. It had like a little step up. It was like an upbeat. And mine's called the Heel Capsule. So what's the deal? Like, how would you explain this to someone? I sense it, right? I'm gonna go for a run after our call, but how do I explain this to someone?
Yeah, so this is brass,
Okay.
and inside you have little titanium spheres. And
All of mine.
the brass capsule itself is charged also with the same frequencies that we charge the water bottle with. Yeah, exactly. Those are medical grade titanium spheres, and they're charged with just pure quantum energy. And so they basically help to boost out the frequencies that are in the capsule itself further. So you could take out all of the spheres, for example, at night, and then it doesn't have any stimulating effect, but you still get the benefit of the frequency, which is here in the capsule. But the titanium spheres make basically a bigger field. So then that field is about maybe 2 meters, possibly a little bigger. And it's almost like in an energy bubble, right?
Yeah,
and so what it does is it offers these frequencies, right? And signals, so the special healing frequency, which is included, signals to the body basically that the body can heal itself, and that it can, has all the strength and power to do all of that. And it kind of activates the self-healing powers and all of that. That's kind of what it does. And it can happen pretty instantly, but it's also a process, like, because everybody's a little bit different, right? Some people don't want to be healed, that sounds crazy because we think like, oh no, everybody wants to be. No, it's not. It's actually not the case. Some people don't want to be on a deeper level. And then what this does is it actually helps the people first to get through that deeper belief system until that's transformed. Then they can really get into action mode. That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah. And I know when I got it and I was asking you about like the length of the necklace, you said it's set at a specific height. So why is it important to be right there, like it's in that region, it's close to my heart, close to my lungs? Why is it there?
Yeah, so we found just in tests that the whole area here around the heart, but also the solar plexus, it's a very central part of the human body and energy system. So it seems to just be more powerful that way. And it really doesn't need to be here. It could also be really in front of the solar plexus, and probably here still fine. It's just we wanted to have an area here. You could still put this in the pocket and it still works totally fine because the field is so big. But we have the heart chakra here and the solar plexus chakra here, so those are our energy centers. We have more chakras, but those are very central ones for being in balance and being in our own power. So that's probably why it works the best there. But literally, if you want to just put it in the pocket, it's fine. Now I wanted to ask you actually how you run with this, because I've been thinking about this, because we want to do more for athletes, and we're about to start a study in a couple months in Europe with athletes actually, and our products, to actually measure performance increases, recovery, optimizations, stuff like that. But so with a capsule, if you run, don't you have the issue that it does this all the time?
So yes, does it bounce? Yeah, but I'll tell you, for someone that I may be different than a lot of people that are just athletic in that sense, that I will almost force myself to do things that are good for me, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
And this is not necessarily uncomfortable for me. Maybe for a woman, maybe for someone that's tinier, maybe, but I don't really have any issues. Because if I like when I run today, I'm not running with a shirt because it's hot. It's almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit here. But when I run with a shirt, it holds it still for the most part.
Okay.
The only thing that I mentally keep doing, I check to make sure I'm not going to lose it, right? Like I make sure it's tight. I've never had an issue, just so everybody knows, never. And I put hundreds and hundreds of miles on with this thing on, and it's never been loose ever. I don't see an issue. I would say, I mean, if it was higher up, it might be more annoying because it might be bouncing and hitting my neck. But when it's down a little bit lower under the shirt line, but if a woman is wearing like a tank top, it'll definitely bounce.
Yeah.
But like under my shirt line, I have no problems whatsoever. But I would say maybe, and I know here's the most important, but if there was a version of that, there was a small, like something that could almost be tightened, like a little wrist bracelet there might be something that some runners or some athletes may want, but I guess it depends on the sport that they're doing. Like for a golfer, this would be great. For I guess for the most people, this is probably the best spot, but certain athletes may want something that's off of their body.
Yep. And a great thing is actually, so once people have the Quantum block or the Infinity block, you could put your shoes inside. I mean, they don't contain metal, so maybe there's something, if it contains a little metal, it's even more so powerful. But even with just the regular shoes, it does help.
Yeah. So I'll give you this. So I was given a gift last year from another chiropractor. I'd taken care of a family member, and she sent me this it's a piece of metal. It's probably about an inch, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches, inch and a half, 2 inches. That I'm not sure where it's meant to go, but it says ADIO on it. It says, which stands for chiropractic for above, down, inside out. That's how, we heal. Okay. But it's got these 2 loops, and I guess it's made for their shoe. So, but it's metal. So I slide it. It's on my work shoes that I wear most of the time. I'll take the laces out, put it through a loop, so it just stays there. It's more of a mental reminder of why I do what I do, like an anchor for me. But I wonder if we have something like that you can put onto a shoe.
Yes.
You can charge that, and that'd be great for runners. Perfect, because they don't have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, because you have all those reflexology points down there at the foot, right? So
yeah. These are my flip flops I'm wearing right now at the moment. These were inside here for the hour before, just to make sure I was on par to be on with you. I keep my energy juju up good to match. You've been around the technology a long time. So let's go forward. So best places for people to start that I would say that I recommend, that I as far as for chiropractor to chiropractor or any of other people, I've had chiropractors ask about the Heel Capsule and buy it. I think it's a great tool, because like you said, it's that aura, if you will, that dome around your body, that wall of protection. But when you're in that other person's space and you're doing healing work, you're helping the body maximize its potential through chiropractic and the nervous system. Like this is just like little gasoline for the fire of healing.
Yes.
Right? So I think it's powerful for a physician. I would say this is great because you don't have to think about anything. You put it on and you let it be. I would say number 2, this or the cards, right? I love this thing. Like I said already. And the third piece, which we've mentioned, I'm going to show you again, the Quantum block. So I want to go over a little bit of how you use this, and I want to share one of my mistakes early on with all of the technology. Actually, not all the technology, just so other people don't go where I went. I don't have the purple cases they come in, but the cards come in purple cases, right? They come in like these storage cases.
Yeah, these
I thought they're like pretty, right? The pouches. So I didn't know, and that's why I'm glad I was able to message Philip. The cases are protective, right, for the energy. So you actually have to have the device, these cards, out of the purple case. And even, the case that the Quantum block comes in, or even the Infinity block, is to protect that energy from, I want to say escaping is maybe the not right word, but you want to have it open and exposed to, like mine's in my pocket close to my leg, that card that I have, the inner peace card. So don't make the mistake I made. Don't keep like 3 cards in your pocket, all inside the purple pouches, and expect that good vibes to come to you. You need to have, I would say, like he mentioned, like having the one, like use one and sense it and feel it and test it out. So nowadays I just have one. I have the DNA repair, I believe. I have the inner peace and the abundance. And I was joking with Philip that I have the inner peace in my pocket most of the time now, just because of, the environment of the world. I think it's just, it's good for me to keep myself level energied, if that makes sense, across the board. So can we talk about the quantum and the infinity block and how people can benefit? That's a bigger purchase. That's a bigger thing that you can do. You can do tons with
Yes,
them. So it's like you're getting like the supercharger of energies, right? In a sense, when you get
exactly.
this. So it's not
Yeah,
large. And I'll have them talk about it, but I'll tell you, I also made a little bit of I want to say a mistake, but these are very, 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 very powerful. It looks like a piece of metal. Most of the stuff does. So I'm going to have Phil talk about this in a second. If you don't want me, just let me share. So when I first got this and put it together, I put little felt pads just so it didn't scratch my coffee table, but that's where we keep it in the living room. I had this in our bedroom on like the stand or on a dresser, like probably 10 feet from me and my wife. So we put it in there, and I started to notice like that week that we put it in, my sleep was the worst. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I messaged him like, listen, I'm using all of this stuff. I'm drinking the water. I got the capsules. I got the cards. I got all this stuff. Why is my sleep turning to crap? And he said it was this thing is powerful. It emits a lot of energy. So, and I tend to have, I guess, more energy when I'm around this thing. So we put it in the living room, and my sleep, it wasn't like maybe it changed. It was like instantaneously my sleep got right back to better. I'm like, okay. So can you talk a little bit about the two blocks and how to use them, and maybe some do's and don'ts for people that are going to go just jump in and get one right away?
yep, absolutely. Just real quick in regards to those purple pouches. And so people need to know that the energy of these products go through any matter. So whether it's cement wall or wood or whatever, it goes through anything. So the pouches we have created specifically for that, to just basically contain it if you travel or if we ship it and stuff like that. So it's not, you cannot use another pouch with the same material and think it does the same thing. It's specifically designed for that. All right. So the energy of the quantum block, yeah, it is pretty powerful at first when one is not used to that. So I bet that now you could actually put it back into your where you sleep in your bedroom,
Okay.
if it's 10 feet away, and it probably isn't a problem, because what happens is that our cells start adapting, and we
Okay.
start to vibrate at a higher level. Basically, it's like, it's the cells on a physical level, but it's also really energetically that we're getting more used to this. We're vibrating higher.
Yeah.
And then it's also not so much of a problem if it's so close. But yeah, at first, that's why we also recommend for beginners, quote unquote, that,
Yeah.
haven't worked with this energy a lot, to start with the quantum block and not with infinity block, because the infinity block is really the next level. It's about six and
Supercharger.
a half, 7 times stronger, more
Oh,
powerful.
wow.
And then, with Infinity Block package, you can do upgrades, and you can make each Infinity Block actually 7 times stronger than the one before,
I just saw
in a
that
very
video.
simple way,
Okay.
and unlimited. And people do that, and people are in different needs of energy and experiences and all of that. So it's like everybody can just do however it's good for them, because it's not, it's just about ourselves, right? It's not about how others do it. It's just, okay, what feels right to us. And so what can you do with it? So with a quantum block, you can copy any frequency that you want into any object. So you could take a piece of a healing plant, put it inside, and use this like a little metal piece with it, put it all inside together. And after 30 to 60 seconds, the frequency of the healing plant will be permanently stored in this metal piece as well. And so you could benefit from that if you wanted to do it. And there are tons of different things you can do. You could just charge an object with the quantum energy if you don't add another frequency. So let's say your shoes, you put your shoes in, you take your watch, put it inside, and it vibrates in a higher and finer manner afterwards. And I mean, people have told us, and we've seen it, I mean, witnessed it. So if you put gold in, for example, a gold Rolex, you should think, okay, that is such an expensive piece. It's
Yeah.
awesome and it's beautiful, right? And but if you put it in, I tell you, it's more beautiful, and it's
Oh,
amazing.
okay. I
It's a
didn't even think
huge
of that.
change.
I
Yeah,
didn't. Okay.
because what it does is that this very strong concentrated quantum energy space that's inside the quantum block and infinity block, it it optimizes the nature of, it brings out the best of whatever you put inside. That's basically what it does. And with a physical organism like ours, it helps us to get there, right? Because it's not like an instant that we're now like
Yeah.
superhumans or the best of ourselves, but it signals to us and to ourselves that, you know, that we can get there, and it kind of like pushes us there a little bit. Like not pushing is not the right word, but it supports us in that way. But you can just have that thing sit at home. You don't have to put anything inside, and it just provides your whole house basically with a wonderful energy. And it, you know, one of the things it does, it harmonizes EMF. Obviously, we talked about that, and it's almost like an energetic feng shui. And you know, we go through life, and we have these ups and downs, right? You know, there's something bad happens today, and then we crash, right, because of that, a little bit, and that's totally normal because it happens. And it won't stop with having a quantum block or infinity block, because it's life, right? But we don't crash like as low anymore. It's almost like as if there's some supportive energy that keeps us going, that carries us a little bit. And that's also with, you know, with recovery. So I actually have we have tons of examples, but I just recently had my own example. So I play tennis. I do yoga, but I also play tennis. And I pulled my calf muscle, but actually it was torn completely. Like the whole thing, it was like as someone hit me with an axe. And so I had to be on crutches for 4 days. And it was super, super painful. And someone else in the club just had it and said, you know, it takes 4 months and then you can play again. I was like, 4 months, damn, it's a long time. After a month, after 30 days, I've been on the court again last Friday. So it's just amazing recovery.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really, really cool. Well, I'll tell you this. So like, I'll be wearing my technology. I'm going to run the Grand Canyon in a matter of weeks. And, you know, my body's going to be put through some strenuous times, from, you know, barely any sleep to low temperatures and like the just above freezing, and as high as almost 100 degrees in the same day, you know, with exercise. And for people to paint that picture, equivalent of, I believe it's about 10 times or a little more up and down the Empire State Building, plus 40 to 50 miles. So I haven't done any ultra distance with the technology. I've done distance over time, you know, smaller distances for a long time, and I have a phenomenal result. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that this is going to be, you know, it's not going to help me at all. Like, you know, I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not traveling with this because I'm going to have packs and everything, my water bottle, but I will be charging this. I'll be charging my shoes. I may even take the block apart and charge my backpack, since it's going to be on my body. I mean, just all of this stuff. So I want to do everything right before I leave. So you mentioned, so here's a question, actually, we were talking about charging things just a minute ago. I know certain clothing brands like Lululemon, others make material or put silver in some of their clothing for odor, right? For smell, like people think like colloidal silver, cleaning out bacteria. Would that hold, that type of clothing, you think, hold the charge better than?
Yes, way better. So by the way, charge your socks too before you go there, probably, because that's, you know, you probably want to do that. But yeah, absolutely. So we also have certain clothing, actually, certain t-shirts and some hats and stuff like that, that are, you know, with real silver, like not just like Lululemon infuses a little bit.
Yeah.
The clothing that we have, they're meant to be really EMF blockage. So they block over 99.9% of any EMF, and they're antimicrobial and stuff like that. But then when you charge this high premium silver, then it contains that energy really well and transmits it very well. So we've done tests with that. The quantum t-shirt we have, if you put that on and you do the dark field microscopy test, and anybody can do that, you just have to find some naturopathic doctor or some other one who has a dark field microscope. It's not too hard to find. It's easy on Europe, but not too hard. And you will see a significant difference. But you can do the same thing. You don't have to buy our t-shirts. So if you have Lululemon stuff already, and you have a block, put it inside. 1 minute, 2 minutes, you're good to go.
That's very cool. All right. I was just thinking, I'm like, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm running in a tank top, like a simple running tank top and some short shorts. So there's no gonna be. I don't think there's any metal in them, but they're just ultra lightweight for me. But I'm thinking, on my day to day, even like as an undershirt in the office, I don't know if I'm not overdo it with
just check in. That's just follow your intuition with that and test it out. And maybe one day you just wear the t-shirt and not the capsule, for example, and
test it out. All right, that's
and
great.
What you can do, because if you have a quantum block, you basically you can do all the things that we do as a company too, right? So you could take the spheres out of your capsule and put the capsule inside the block with that t-shirt you referenced, and then you will have the frequency also of this in the t-shirt.
Okay.
So
take the spheres out of it.
Yeah.
Take the sphere. Okay, but it'll screw up whatever the frequency of the spheres is. Or something.
Yeah, I would just. Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to explain. I would just take the spheres off because the frequency is really just in the capsule, and yeah.
Okay. That's right. They're the magnifiers that we were talking about. Got it. So what else can we talk about? Because I think this conversation is very practical for people that are buying the technology, and I like using myself as like the test subject because I ultimately have been using it, and my wife also with the water bottle every single day. I mean, it's always around, always around. So and we're actually going to be charging. She got a copper ring when we're out west, so I think we're just gonna. I can take the capsule or take the beads out, and put her ring in, and put this in.
Yes, you could do that with a ring. I would personally suggest to only put quantum energy in.
Okay.
Pure quantum energy and not an additional frequency, because the frequency you can't get out anymore. So what if at some point you rather want to have a different frequency, or so rather have her take in the frequency through either this or something else, and a ring which she will wear all the time, just with pure quantum energy. That's the better way to go, because then if she changes her mind in 5 years, she doesn't really want to have this frequency, but she wants a different frequency, then you can't get it out. I mean, we could get it out for you for regular.
Okay, so then perfect. So with this, like even like I have a silicone wedding band, but for her with her wedding band engagement ring, like we can put that in there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
like,
and
you'll not just
you'll
like
see
you
the
said,
difference.
Like the watch, not just pretty, it actually is really cool now. Okay, so we went over this. So as far as the infinity block, just like the simple difference, it's just you're saying it's like a supercharger compared to the quantum block.
Yeah, so the energy inside this quantum space is way more concentrated in an infinity block. So it operates faster, it has more possibility levels, and it's stronger in a sense, right? Okay. So the field around, so the space is really, this concentrated quantum space is just inside the plates, but then outside it has a nice quantum energy field, right? Like the quantum block. And that's what basically harmonizes the EMF and all of that. And so the radius of the quantum block is about 145 feet. And the radius of the infinity block is about a kilometer. That's about 0.6 miles or something like that.
A little different.
And it doesn't harmonize EMF in this whole radius, but in half the radius. So in 0.3 miles roughly, it does harmonize EMF. So it's pretty big. And yeah, there's certain, you'll be ready for the infinity block soon, because once you've worked with the quantum block, at some point you're like, hey, I may want to take it up a notch and do that. But there's certain things you want to keep doing with the quantum block that we don't recommend to use the infinity block for. For example, if you want to neutralize potentially harmful frequencies of a pharmaceutical, let's say someone breaks his leg or her leg, and then it will be time for a pharmaceutical, probably a painkiller, right? In that sense, usually, we want to avoid those things, but then you can put it into the quantum block and actually take a much cleaner version of that. But if you put it in the infinity block makes it a whole lot more powerful because it adds homeopathic doses. So just don't do these things with the infinity block.
Okay. All right. Well, so I mean, if I'm gonna recommend, like, someone's like, I'm ready to get, I don't want the beginner thing. I want like a more advanced, like, I'm going to look at the blocks. Would I recommend the quantum block is like the first step before they jump to the bigger? That would be like,
yes, I would say that. But if someone has already some experience with energy devices or has worked with energy quite a lot, or even someone that has meditated, done yoga for a long time, that's a very similar, almost the same type of energy actually that we're then used to, right? Then you can just check in and you may already be good to go with an infinity block.
Okay. So we said we're going to share the Telegram group is probably the best place. It's busy, so everybody knows. It's like there's a very, very active, engaged group of people that are there. Like I said, it's fast moving. So you may get into a topic and you can stay in a topic. But if you're just looking to look at everything, you need to have a brain big as Philip's here, because there's a lot, there's a lot going on.
Well, the good thing is we have a pinned post which gives already basic information, and then the way it works is if someone is interested in the topics, you can ask any questions and they'll get answered and all of that. And it's a wonderful group of people, very nice and kind-hearted. So everybody's always welcome. Like, don't feel like you come in and there's people talking about something and then you need to contribute. So no, not at all. Like, start your own question. And it's fun, and you can meet me there too. So if you want to send me a private message, you can do that too. You can just click on me and just do that.
So everybody, I mean, again, this is great. This is so useful. This is a very practical episode for everybody. So one more time, for those of you that are listening and you want to see the physical products, like what they look like size-wise, the quantum block, the infinity block, the water bottle, these cards, just check the video out. It'll be on Rumble, and Philip will have access. Obviously, he can share this whole thing with his whole tribe. I'm sure it'll be in the Telegram group when it's live, and just get something, because I tell you this, it's never my thoughts that I say, I think I'd have something. When I think technology, most people think like, like a digital GPS running watch, or a computer. This is not anything that's electrical. Like that's what's so cool about this. Is quantum. This is bigger. This is like out there in a good way. So I urge all of you just to get something, give it a whirl, give it a test, see how you do with and without it. And I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure you're going to have a positive outcome by using these products. I know me and my wife love them. So Philip, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on. And it's always great to chat with you.